Following the wins in Georgia, which created an evenly divided Senate chamber, you have Senate Democrats under leader Chuck Schumer are now in discussions with Mitch McConnell for a power sharing agreement. So they're gonna share power. So I'm gonna break down exactly what that means and why I think it's a bad idea. So now the top two Senate leaders are nearing a power sharing agreement to hash out how the evenly divided chamber will operate. Democrats will be in charge of setting the schedule, but both parties are likely to hold an equal number of seats on Senate committees, according to sources familiar with the talks. The negotiations between Democratic leader Chuck Schumer and Republican leader Mitch McConnell have been built largely around how the Senate operated the last time the body was split 50-50, when George W. Bush initially became president in 2001. So now, how did that go? Well, the entire Bush administration was a colossal disaster. That's how we ended up blowing a surplus and going into two unfunded wars, 9/11, all that stuff. And so that doesn't really have anything to do with the power sharing in that case. Although I'm sure some decisions to, for example, allow giant tax cuts for corporations, the Bush tax cuts, to go through. So, okay, not good, right? Also, by the way, it's also not 2001 anymore. The parties have veered both to the right quite a bit. Now, of course, Bernie Sanders, Democrats are trying to pull the Democratic Party back to the left a bit, which is having a little bit of success, but not a lot. We definitely need to do more. But okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? Now, similar to the rules set in January 2001, according to CNN, Schumer and McConnell aides are discussing allowing bills and nominations to advance to the Senate floor, even if they're tied during committee votes. Something that could become common given that each party is expected to have the same number of seats on committees. Democrats will hold the chairmanships of the committees, giving them power to set the agenda, and Schumer will be granted the title of majority leader since Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will cast the tie-breaking votes on the floor. And of course, they have to go and ratify these procedures, but that's expected to occur once Schumer and McConnell have finalized their agreement. So my question is why? Now, I get it. If we had a normal functioning government with a normal functioning Republican Party that wasn't insane, and an actual left party as well, then I could see something like this being like, okay, we've got divided government. We're going to have to work with each other. Let's figure something out. But the thing is that we don't have a functioning Republican Party. It's why would you allow McConnell and Republicans to have seats on committees? If you can control who goes on the committees, then why would you put Republicans in there? Did Republicans do that? Maybe I'm missing how this works. All right. And maybe there's something that I'm missing here about how chairmanships, and I mean, not just chairmanships, but who is able to sit on committees, right? But from what I understand, if you have the majority, which you do functionally with Kamala Harris, and you're the majority leader, then you get the rules. You get to set the rules, and you get to appoint people to committees. And I'm sure, it involves votes, but why would you put Republicans who you can't trust on committees? Doesn't make any sense. And the thing is the big thing that sticks out about this for me is that the thing, like, if you go trying to look for bipartisanship with Republicans, you're not going to find it. You're going to find a gridlock because the Republican Party is not a normal party. They don't like you. Okay. Just weeks ago, the hundreds of congressmen tried to overturn an election based on conspiracy theories. I mean, Senator Ted Cruz and Senator Josh Hawley were part of this. Okay. And I think Senator Ted Cruz should be investigated and brought up on charges if they are found, Hawley as well, if they are found to have incited this coup, this insurrection. They should not be given committee assignments. The El Paso Times, by the way, just became the third major Texas newspaper to call for Ted Cruz to resign. His actions contributed, this is according to them, to a violent uprising against the U.S. government. We call on law enforcement officials to thoroughly explore Cruz's role and inciting the insurrection. But instead of doing that and having, accountability, the Democrats are like, here, let's share power. Kumbaya. Let's hold hands in front of the campfire and roast marshmallows together. All while, of course, McConnell's over there sharpening the knife to put in Schumer's back. You know how this goes. You know how this is. All right? That's the thing. Did you guys literally forget what happened, not just on January 6th, but in the years leading up to that? Why? Unlike most Republicans, Democrats in Congress are taking the high road for the sake of America. But where does the high road with people with bad intentions ever lead you? The Republicans don't have good intentions. Why would you play the high road? Why would you take the high road with the people who want to destroy you? Again, if we had a functional party, then yes, and a functional government, and a Republican Party that's not based on nihilism and giving everything to the wealthy donors, then okay, we could talk about doing a sharing agreement in this kind of situation. But again, we don't have that. We don't have any of that. That is the problem. We have an extreme right-wing fascist party, and then we have basically a socially liberal diet Republican Party. We don't have true leftist representation in government. The very few are located inside the Democratic Party. But the whole of the Democratic Party is still conservative, generally, at least when it comes to economic issues. They're all avowed capitalists, not for social democratic reforms. And so again, why? Why would you work with the extreme far right who wants you destroyed? And again, you might say, well, Mitch McConnell was against the coup. He denounced it openly. That's because Mitch McConnell is not an idiot. All right? He knows how to save his own ass. And he knows how to save the establishment wing of the party. Mitch has always looked out for Mitch. Mitch has always looked out for his power, and he's always looked out for his donors. And so, yeah, he looks at this and he says, well, hell yeah, we lost and he's still giving us power? We're shit. Great. I'll take it. I'll take that power, and then I will use it to stab you in the back later. I will stop whatever and block whatever you bring to the floor. And that's what's going to happen. And also, by the way, what makes you think Mitch McConnell won't do that, especially if it leads to Democrats getting wiped out in the midterms? I feel like we've seen this movie before. Many, many times, for example. And Chuck Schumer is yet handing him a tool to help him obstruct. Help him. Has he learned nothing for the last 12 years? At least 12 years. Obama's first term said, Obama, you're going to be a one-term president. That is my number one priority. Not helping the country, not doing anything, to help the people. No. I don't care about the people. All I care about is winning. All I care about is winning. And that's it. I mean, that's who Mitch McConnell is. There was no reaching out to Democrats. There was no attempts to power share. No. It's there's only power. Power is power. And Mitch McConnell is more than happy to wield it, and yet the Democrats are unwilling to do so. And that's why the Democrats are terrible. They refuse to be ruthless. I mean, again, by ruthless, I mean not to the American people, but in a way of using your power effectively to actually get things done or to actually do the most good. We've seen McConnell do everything in his power to try to do the most bad, and yet Schumer continues to reach out again and again and again when the people put Democrats in power. This is a recipe for a midterm wipeout in the Senate for Democrats and 4 years of gridlock. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll own up to it. But I know who the Republicans are, and I'm pretty sure I know who the Democrats are at this point. And I know that the Democrats are not going to be treated fairly because they never are. And I know that because the Republicans have never changed, and they never will change. There's no reason for them to change. Even though they lost, they will do anything that they can to get their power back, even if it means hurting the people, because they don't care about the people, just their own power just their own donors, which is why we need to get rid of not just Mitch McConnell, but we need to get rid of Chuck Schumer as well. We've got to get rid of Chuck Schumer. We've got to do some primaries. We've got to get people who are progressives in to actually try to change the system. If you don't do that, you're going to keep seeing this happening over and over and over again. Yes, they're going to sabotage anything Joe Biden because that's exactly what they plan on doing all along. You can't share power with people that want to destroy you because they're going to, because they're going to destroy you with whatever power they have. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.